Hello everyone, welcome to Current Affairs MCQs program. Let's begin with previous day's practice question first, which was, with reference to India-Nepal relations, consider the following statements. First, India and Nepal share an open border and citizens of both countries can move across without visas. Second, the Mahakali Treaty between India and Nepal is related to the sharing of waters of the Kosi River. Third, Kalapani, Lipu Lake and Limpia Dhura are the border regions at the center of disputes between India and Nepal. Fourth, India is Nepal's largest trade partner and a major source of foreign investments. Which of the statements given above are correct? Option A, first, third and fourth only. Option B, first and second only. Option C, second, third and fourth only. And option D, all of the above. The correct answer is option A. India and Nepal share an open border of 1,770 kilometers with free movement of people and goods. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The Mahakali Treaty 1996 is related to sharing of waters of the Mahakali River and not the Kosi. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. Dispute over Kalapani, Lipu Lake and Limpia Dhura escalated after Nepal's new political map in 2020. Hence, statement 3 is correct. India is Nepal's largest trade partner, transit route for third country trade and a key investor. Hence, statement 4 is correct. So, the correct answer is option A. Let's begin with today's episode now. Question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding the Monkey Munda system. First, the system represents the traditional political framework for customary self-governance within the Ho tribal community. Second, the basic administrative unit of the system is the village, which is headed by a monkey who holds hereditary authority for adjudicating local disputes. Third, the customary laws of the Monkey Munda system were formally codified and integrated into the colonial administrative structure by Governor General Warren Hastings. How many of the statements given above are not correct? Option A, only 1, option B, only 2, option C, all 3, and option D, none. The correct answer is option B. Adivasi community, the Ho or Kolha, are an Austro-Asiatic Munda ethnic group of India, concentrated mainly in Jharkhand's Kolhan region and parts of Odisha, with smaller populations in West Bengal, Bihar, Bangladesh and Nepal. Hence, statement 1 is correct. In the Monkey Munda system, each village is led by a hereditary Munda responsible for resolving local disputes, while a group of 8 to 15 villages called a pit is overseen by a monkey handling cases unresolved at the village level. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. The system is decentralized and purely socio-political with no role in revenue collection, land management or taxation. During colonial rule, Captain Thomas Wilkinson codified the system in Wilkinson's rules formally, recognizing Mundas and monkeys and integrating them into colonial administration. Hence, statement 3 is not correct. This introduced private property and pattas, transforming collective landholding to individual ownership and led to demographic changes with influx of outsiders. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Question number 2. Consider the following statements. India's inaugural commercial-scale biorefinery for producing ethanol from bamboo was commissioned in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Second, following a 2017 amendment to the Indian Forest Act 1927, bamboo grown in non-forest areas was officially declassified from the category of tree. Third, bioethanol produced from bamboo is classified as a first-generation biofuel since it is derived directly from the plant source. Which of the statements given above are correct? Option A, only 1, option B, only 2, option C, 1 and 3 only, and option D, 2 and 3 only. The correct answer is option B. India's first bamboo-based bioethanol plant established in Golaghat, Assam, not in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. After the amendment in Indian Forest Act 1927, bamboo is no longer classified as a tree, lifting the ban on its cutting. This change supports the livelihoods of forest communities and private growers. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Bioethanol is not hydrocarbon. It is biologically produced biofuel rather than derived from petroleum. Hence, statement 3 is not correct. So, the correct answer is option B. Question number 3. Which of the following statements about Great Nicobar Island is correct? Option A, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands are divided by the 8-degree channel. Option B, Indira Point, India's southernmost tip, is located on Great Nicobar Island. Option C, Great Nicobar Island has been a part of the Man and Biosphere Program of UNESCO since 2003. Option D, the island is uninhabited and has no tribal populations. The correct answer is option B. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands comprise 836 islands divided by 10-degree channel into Andaman North and Nicobar South. Great Nicobar, the largest Nicobar island, hosts Indira Point, India's southernmost tip and just 90 nautical miles from Sumatra, which is Indonesia. Great Nicobar has 2 national parks, a biosphere reserve, small population of the Shompen and Nicobarese tribal people, and a few thousand non-tribal settlers. Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve was included in the list of Man and Biosphere Program of UNESCO in 2013. So the correct answer is option B. Question number 4. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. India is using contracts for difference to boost green finance for its renewable energy goals. Statement 2. CFD is a financial agreement between renewable energy producers and the government to stabilize revenues. Statement 3. If market prices fall below an agreed strike price, the government pays the producer the difference, and if prices rise above it, the producer returns the surplus. Which one of the following is correct in respect to the above statements? Option A, both statement 2 and 3 are correct and both of them explain statement 1. Option B, both statement 2 and 3 are correct but only one of them explains statement 1. Option C, only one of the statements 2 and 3 is correct and explains statement 1. Option D, neither statement 2 nor statement 3 is correct. So the correct answer is option A. India is turning to contracts for difference as a central mechanism to mobilize nearly USD 1 trillion in green finance for its 500 GW renewable energy target by 2030. Hence, statement 1 is correct. CFD is a financial agreement between renewable energy producers and the government to stabilize revenues. Hence, statement 2 is correct. If the market prices fall below an agreed strike price, the government pays the producer the difference, and if prices rise above it, the producer returns the surplus. Hence, statement 3 is correct. CFDs reduce risk and widely used in Europe for renewable projects. Green finance encompasses financial products and services designed to promote environmental sustainability. To meet its Paris Agreement targets, India needs USD 2.5 trillion by 2030. India needs USD 10 trillion by 2070 for its net zero goal, focusing on green finance as essential for development. Both statement 2 and 3 are correct and both of them explain statement 1. So the correct answer is option A. Question number 5. Consider the following statements. First, under UN clause, artificial islands and land reclamation activities do not change the legal status of naturally occurring rocks or reefs. Second, China's 9-dash line claimed the South China Seas overlaps with the exclusive economic zones of Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei. Which of the above statements is/are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, both 1 and 2. And option D, neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is option C. The UN Convention on the Law of Sea explicitly states human-made changes cannot turn rocks into islands, generating exclusive economic zones. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The 9-dash line claimed by China overlaps with the EEZs of Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and the Philippines. This overlap is the crux of South China Sea disputes. Hence, statement 2 is correct. So the correct answer is option C. Question number 6. Consider the following in context of India-Mauritius strategic cooperation. First, Agalaga Island projects include development of airstrip and jetty by India. Second, India has reaffirmed support for Mauritius' claim over the Chagos archipelago. Third, Mauritius has joined India's Sagar initiative. Which of the statements given above are correct? Option A, 1 and 2 only. Option B, 2 and 3 only. Option C, 1 and 3 only. And option D, 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is option D. Projects on Agalaga, which is airstrip and jetty, are a part of India-Mauritius cooperation, and statement 1 is correct. India supports Mauritius' sovereignty claim over Chagos archipelago. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Mauritius has joined Sagar, which is security and growth for all in religion initiative. Hence, statement 3 is correct. So the correct answer is option D. Question number 7. With reference to the European debate on recognition of Palestine, the term consistency gap refers to option A, the difference between UN resolutions and the actual situation on the ground of Palestine. Option B, the gap between European public opinion and their government's foreign policies. Option C, the contradiction in Europe's defense of sovereignty in Ukraine versus inaction in Palestine. Option D, the difference between US and European positions on the Israel-Palestine issue? The correct answer is option C. The contradiction in Europe's defense of sovereignty in Ukraine versus inaction in Palestine is the consistency gap. The foreign policy shift is also a direct response to roiling domestic politics across Europe. Public opinion has shifted palpably. The European Parliament's own Eurobarometer survey 2023 showed that 72% of Europeans support upholding international law in all conflicts, a principle increasingly seen as applying to Palestine as well. So the correct answer is option C. Question number 8. With reference to the legal status of refugees in India, which of the following correctly explains the challenge of Sri Lankan Tamil refugees? Option A, they are considered illegal migrants under the Indian law, making them ineligible for citizenship by registration or naturalization. Option B, they are automatically eligible for Indian citizenship after 10 years of stay under Section 6 of the Citizenship Act 1955. Option C, they are granted citizenship through the Panchsheel Agreement with Sri Lanka. And option D, they enjoy constitutional rights identical to Indian citizens. The correct answer is option A, illegal migrant status. Under the Citizenship Act 1955, anyone entering India without valid travel documents is treated as an illegal migrant. Sri Lankan Tamil refugees fall into this category. Bar on citizenship routes being classified as illegal migrants. This qualifies them from applying Indian citizenship either by registration or naturalization, even if they have stayed for decades. Exclusion from CAA 2019. Unlike 6 specified religious minorities from Afghanistan, Pakistan and Bangladesh, Sri Lankan Tamils were not included in the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, leaving them in a legal limbo despite humanitarian considerations. So the correct answer is option A. Question number 9 regarding the Great Nicobar project, which of the following are true? First, it includes a greenfield international airport with both civil and military uses. Second, it involves denotification of tribal reserve land and affects indigenous communities such as the Shompen. Third, the project has been stalled because it failed to obtain environmental clearance. Select the correct answer using the code below. Option A, first and second only. Option B, 1 only. Option C, 2 only. And option D, 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is option A. The plan includes a greenfield international airport among its infrastructure, hence statement 1 is correct. Areas of tribal reserve are impacted. Indigenous communities like Shompen and Nicobarese are to be affected, hence statement 2 is correct. The project has obtained environmental and forest clearances and is moving forward through the legal environmental challenges, hence statement 3 is not correct. So the correct answer is option A. Question number 10. Which of the following are approved by global public health agencies such as WHO and CDC as effective repellents against Aedes mosquitoes? First, DEET. Second, Pisaridin. Third, Paramethanediol. And fourth, citronella oil. Option A, first, second and third only. Option B, first and fourth only. Option C, second, third and fourth only. And option D, first, second, third and fourth. The correct answer is option A, DEET 20%, Pisaridin, PMD, IR 3535 and 2 Undicone are globally approved. Hence statement 1, 2 and 3 correct. Patch. Hence statement 1, 2 and 3 are correct. Citronella oil is unreliable. Hence statement 4 is not correct. The Aedes mosquito adapts well to human settings. It feeds indoors during the day and at night under artificial light. Methods like outdoor fumigation, vaporizers and bed nets are thus ineffective against it. So the correct answer is option A. It's the time for practice question. Consider the following statements. First, vultures in India are a part of Central Asian Flyway which connects breeding grounds in Central Asia to wintering grounds in South Asia. Second, conservation of vultures is already fully integrated into India's National One Health Strategy. Which of the following statements given above is /are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, both 1 and 2. And option D, neither 1 nor 2. Pin down your answers in the comment section below.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe. And do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.